Chapter 1. The Envelope. Startled, Rachel froze. Listening first, she waited a few seconds and then partially opened one eye to get a peek. Seeing no one, she opened both eyes and scanned the room. It was early, not yet fully light, but she could see that the bedroom was empty. What about the ensuite? She dared not move. Looking out the corner of her eye, she saw no signs of movement. The complimentary hotel robe hung from the door and her purse sat undisturbed on the luggage stand. The 8th floor suite seemed abnormally quiet, especially for a weekday morning in Manhattan. She listened for any telltale sounds from the direction of the living room and kitchenette. Silence. And then the bed shook again to the beat of a rapid thumping. She panned the room, more slowly this time, searching for the culprit behind her rude awakening. She'd arrived in the city only a few hours before, taking an unusually noisy red-eye from Chicago, her hopes for a little catch-up nap dashed by the 3 drunk women 2 rows behind. Not only was she still exhausted, she was unarmed, in a strange hotel, and dealing with an invisible intruder. Then she heard it again, but louder, a thumping noise, at first rhythmic, then breaking into a spastic cadence. She looked down her nose toward the foot of the bed. Squinting to focus, she realized it was coming from her, as if someone were using her chest as a punching bag from the inside, each beat landing an explosive thump, a thump forceful enough to shake the bed. Good grief, sleep deprivation. It's gotta be. The alarm clock read 5:45 a.m. Throwing the covers off, she swung her feet to the floor, grabbed her own robe from her still unpacked suitcase, and dragged herself into the kitchenette to make some coffee. A half-folded USA Today newspaper had been pushed underneath the room door, along with the breakfast menu. She had a routine: coffee, a quick scan of the news for topics she could drop into any in-the-know conversations later on, and the TV tuned to CNN with the volume low. The anchor's voices relaxed her as she dressed and mentally prepared for the day ahead. Today might require a little more than the normal routine given her strange awakening. She'd been notified of the assignment just 2 days before, a last-minute change in plans. Unfortunately, it was too short notice for her to get the right interstate license for concealed carry, which meant she was there without a weapon and feeling ill-equipped for emergencies. A meeting was already set, but she didn't know what time, only that it would be held somewhere on the Upper West Side. Did she have enough time for some minibar coffee and a nice breakfast from room service? Probably not. For all she knew, the meeting could be scheduled to start in the next few minutes, and how long would it take to get from Midtown to the Upper West Side by taxi? She wanted to look her best, as usual, but the mirror near the entryway made it clear that she had her work cut out for her. A cup of coffee and a quick scan of the news might kick her into gear. Rachel picked up the newspaper and breakfast menu from the floor and sat down at the table with a fresh cup. She flipped open the half-folded newspaper. Taped to the center was a platinum-embossed envelope of high-quality paper, the kind someone with a taste for opulence might choose. On the front of the envelope were the words, Rachel, confidential. Her heart raced. Rachel had checked in under a different name, so this made no sense. She thought it must be some kind of a joke. The envelope was bulky in the middle, unusual for an invitation. She carefully detached it from the newspaper, one corner at a time. It was heavy. She held it up to the light, but the paper was too thick to see through. She turned it over. The back flap had been sealed with wax and imprinted with a signet. The signet seemed strangely familiar, but she couldn't make out the words around the perimeter. Vague feelings from long ago rose up, but the memories themselves were fuzzy. Rachel slid her finger under the flap, breaking the seal. Inside, she found a thin, black polished box, nothing else. Hesitating for a moment, she opened it to find a platinum key embedded in a velvet-lined case, a case formed to match the exact cut of the key. She hadn't noticed the strange and noxious scent emanating from the broken seal until it was too late. She slid off the chair and onto the floor, out cold.